未来洗联储还有 HDO 洗币会别人抢着来成为国家流通的货币。接下来被国家认可、主权认可、主权流通，甚至大的这招手地控制的金融集团流通，这是一定会发生的。
Good morning. Welcome to episode 7 of the Crypto News Talk. This is Bindi Bindi. And Mountgore said, digital currency is the future. 007, are you ready for the future?
Hello, Bindi. I'm True007. Welcome back to the Crypto News number 7. In this video, we are going to show you CBDC unpacked from JP Morgan. What is Australian Central Bank up to with this CBDC? Bank of Russia roll out the Russian digital ruby. Guess what else we got for you? Miss Milescore's video. Does the reversal of the digital dollar means the era of digital currency era? Watching video number 1.
This is central bank digital currencies unpacked. CBDCs are often confused with cryptocurrencies. Both are digital assets, but this is where the similarity stops. Cryptocurrencies are issued within decentralized networks, like blockchains, and are not tied to any one entity. Transactions are recorded on a publicly distributed ledger. They are generally considered too volatile to become a widely accepted payment method. There is concern that broad adoption of cryptocurrencies across economies could hurt domestic currencies and cause monetary policy to become less effective. This is why more institutions are exploring their own CBDC. A CBDC is a digital currency issued and controlled by a country's central bank. Like how credit cards or apps are used to make payments, CBDCs can be transferred across networks and bank accounts. CBDCs are also risk-free, so they're not subject to an institution's liquidity or credit liability issues. This is different from money kept in a commercial bank. This system could also improve cross-border payments. Typically, they involve several parties across jurisdictions and time zones. Digital currencies accepted between countries could reduce transaction time and overall costs. Financial inclusion is another benefit of CBDCs. With the rise of digital payments, many retailers in South Korea, China, and the UK no longer accept cash. Access to CBDCs with e-wallets would help these consumers make digital payments. Across the globe, CBDCs are in different stages of development. In 2020, the Central Bank of the Bahamas issued the Sand Dollar, which is the digital form of the Bahamian dollar. And in 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria launched the e-Naira. China's CBDC is at the most advanced stage compared to larger economies. Their digital yuan is available to 10% of the country's population across around 9 major cities in China. The European Central Bank and the U.S. Federal Reserve are both considering launching digital currencies. And there are many aspects to think about, including: who holds the CBDC? Is it the general public? Non-financial institutions? Who handles account openings and payment execution? Is that the responsibility of the central bank or a third party? Who handles conversions to cash or bank deposits? If consumers convert too quickly, it can impact a bank's overall liquidity reserve. Should CBDCs be interest-bearing? This means that central bank policy rates would be directly passed to the economy. Currently, central banks seem to prefer making these deposits non-interest-bearing because it reduces the risk of competition with other banks. Imposing limits on digital currency balances is being explored as a way to help reduce this risk. The main change CBDCs could offer, though, would be allowing non-financial institutions and the general public access to an electronic form of money that has the backing of the central bank. There is a risk that soon retailers will no longer accept physical payments. Access to CBDCs through a digital wallet will enable more people to make digital payments, adding convenience and efficiency to the consumer experience.
everyone, we're back. Okay, so we see that the Australian Central Bank goes public with CBDC trial. So CBDC, what it is, a digital version of cash issued and controlled by a country's central bank, likely to be token-based, represented on a blockchain established by the central bank, which allows the government to disperse helicopter money directly to citizens. For example, okay, COVID or natural disaster relief, Centrelink payment can include the unbanked, as long as they have a mobile phone or smartphone, can add expiration to the date of the helicopter money. The private decentralized cannot control supply through monetary policy, challenges the sovereignty of the national currency. Cashless transactions become more common in the private sector, and digital currencies comprise a large percentage of the investment portfolios. This trend is driven competition with government and central banks racing to introduce their own digital currencies, like how credit cards or apps are used to make payments. CBDCs can be transferred across networks and bank accounts. Across the global, CBDCs are in the different stages of development, according to the results of a survey conducted by the Bank of the International Settlement, BIS. 9 out of 10 central banks around the world are now exploring central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. So, Bindi, would you like to make a comment?
First of all, I actually want to just crystallize thoughts in our audience mind that talk about 3 types of digital currency. We have cryptocurrency, which are akin to, there are many types, many brands, I would say, cryptocurrencies, akin to digital gold. The most famous ones are BTC and ETH, Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are cryptocurrencies. At the same time, we also have stable coins, which are usually backed by an asset. Maybe it's a fiat or maybe it's an algorithm. And then, of course, lastly is CBDC, which is the main point of today's topic. CBDC is issued by central bank. The whole point is only because they want to catch up with the trend, the technology trend. So with people may think that CBDC, isn't it? Aren't we already in a cashless society in the sense that we are using our credit card so much? We are doing a lot of online purchases, all done through various payment platforms. Why is there a need for central bank digital currency? Well, the difference is with the fiat currency as it is, whether it is cashless transaction or whether it's using banknotes. With the digital cashless transaction, the settling of accounts are between bank and bank, commercial bank and commercial bank, whereas a centralized digital currency, centralized CBDC, you are actually having the liability is completely on the central bank. So the central bank may choose in the future to have a wholesale CBDC or a retail CBDC, which we will discuss later on. But the whole point is digitalizing the currency, which allow them to compete in a great extent with cryptocurrency, which is very popular now. And at the same time, it also allows them it is also a new industry in itself, because people are all very excited with the new banks, merchants, fintech companies. They're able to expand and optimize their offerings from rewards to investment to and assets to digital wallets. So, as you can see just now in the video, it is pretty glossy, right? As with anything promotional, they talk about safety, they talk about efficiency. Of course, they talk about cost. These are all some of the advantages of a CBDC, but really it is these advantages can also exist beyond CBDC, which we will dwell a little bit further later. So I want to just ask True007, can you talk about a little bit of advantage of CBDC? Hello.
Hi, thanks for the background information. Advantage of CBCD, obviously, okay, being a central bank digital currency, you've been given the government the right through the agencies that money laundering, definitely, and also cashless society been the cost of cash, okay, been cost been too high. We know that the CCP can have the copy to print out any other even US dollars. I mean, highly difficulty to forge, but CCP have a couple of factories in China called the Hulu Dao, okay, Hulu Island. They have been known to print US dollars cash. I mean, even US central bank wouldn't see the differences. All right, so stolen cash from CCP is preventable after you're down the digital side of it. What else? So it give everyone the chance to with a smartphone. Okay, with a smartphone, then you can access, and it's also talk about the management of human race in the future. So we're gonna have some kind of currencies which you can carry on within yourself, which is easy to do with the smart phone. Yeah. So that's what I can sort of. Back to you, Bindi.
Okay, so when we talk about CBDC, there are a few questions we need to consider. Who holds the CBDC? Is it a general public or non-financial institution? Who handles the account opening and payment execution? Is it the responsibility of the central bank or third party? We know that central bank, they are really not, so they are not set up to handle retail customers. Now, who handles conversion to cash or bank deposits? What if consumers do the conversion too quickly? Will it impact the bank's overall liquidity reserve? And should CBDC be interest bearing? So these are some of the questions which need to be considered when we talk about CBDC. Let's just move on to the second topic, which talks about Australia Central Bank going public with a CBDC trial. Director, can we have the slides, please?
Yeah.
Now, yep, Australia Central Bank has gone public with CBDC trial. Next slide. Not too long ago, it was in 2021. That was when they said that, oh, we are not going to we are not going to go digital CBDC, and Australia, but just a year later, they've decided to go on a trial to explore using CBDC. Now, Australian CBDC, just the same as any other CBDC, is just a digital form of fiat currency issued and regulated by in this case, Australian Bank, which can either be a retail or wholesale. And with Australian CBDC, next slide, they talk about advantages, benefits, technology efficiency, instant settlement, financial inclusion, prevention of illicit activity, improved tax collection. That must be the most important thing in our Australian government's point of view. Nothing more important than tax collection. Combating crime, improved safety, enormous privacy, and this one is a potential risk, is privacy risk and surveillance concerns. this, I think, even though they only list one, I think this particular risk, as far as Australians who remembered what it was like last year with some of our state governments, this will be sending lots of alarm bells in people's mind. Next slide. So they talk about it will take a year for the project to complete, and the motivation is that they don't want to be left behind. Of course, it's a race of technology, because if more and more of the public take on to cryptocurrency, that will lose. It means that the central bank will lose control over monetary policy. They will lose their sovereignty over currency as well. So like I said, in 2021, they said that, we saw no strong case in doing a retail central bank digital currency. A year later, they decided to change their mind and put on a pilot project. Now, with Australia, they always do something opposite to what they think. Just it is the case was with the interest rates. They said that we are not going to raise interest rates until 2024. And then just a few months later, they went from 0.1% interest rate to 1.85 interest rate, all in a year. Okay, so this is our government, and I'm sure it is the same with many central banks. So CBDC is as much a financial issue as it is a political debate. Now, just explaining more on CBDC, classifying retail and wholesale. Retail is what they issue, what the central bank will issue directly from to the people and companies, whereas wholesale will be issued to financial institutions such as banks, central banks, commercial banks, or entities that hold accounts with the central bank. Now, I just don't want to continue talking so much. I want to ask the 2007 one question. What do you think RBA is up to?
What is RBA is up to? RBA, I think traditionally, and even more so now, okay, it's about control. Okay, it's about absolute control. Last year, the Reserve Bank of Australia, RBA, announced that it saw no strong case for retail central bank digital currencies, CBDC, as you just mentioned. But in the 9th of August this year, RBA announced RBA is collaborating with the Digital Finance Cooperative Research Center, DFCRS, on a research project to explore use cases for a central bank digital currency in Australia. Okay, so see, they change the tone and change the time, change the stories. You never trust the government and the banks, as they said, the central banks especially. So, and the RBA indicated the part of the motivation for the experiment was that it didn't want to be left behind. Okay, well, that's interesting answer. Don't want to get left behind. The report is expected to around the year's time, and according to the Bullock, an Australian CBDC is necessary. A certainty. Ask question early, what are the things to consider in launching a digital currency? So just mention who holds the CBDC, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So here is the answer from RBA Chief Philip Lu. Indicated that the private sector stablecoin were probably better than CBDCs. So my question to you, what is a stablecoin, Bindi?
Well, stable coins, cryptocurrencies are pegged to the price of another asset, such as US dollars, as we have seen. One good example will be HDO, Himalaya dollar. It can be pegged to gold, can be pegged to gold stock in a public company. Now, a stable coin should be backed, except that some stable coins are backed to algorithm, or back to, say, another cryptocurrency, like, for example, Bitcoin even. So that will be, an example will be Terra USD. So because of that, because of the collapse of algorithm stablecoin Terra USD, so it has raised a lot of issue. So people need to understand what stablecoin is. It has to be pegged to something that doesn't change. AUDC is a stablecoin once it's issued because it's back. It's 1-to-1 to AUD. HDO is definitely a stable coin. So it is with the up and coming USDC, which is again pegged to US dollar. So pegged to a fiat usually is probably the best held by fiat held by central banks. Over to you.
Okay, so in that case, I'll just ask you one more question about the, if can you do a short comparison between the $H, HDO, and and the any maybe Australia, okay, AUDO. So
AUDC.
AUDC, yeah. What would be? Can you just give us, given all the research, and what would be the differences, and what would be advantage and disadvantages of compare both?
Okay. Putting the technology aside, which we will talk about later, the difference between HDO and AUDC is one is private. HDO is issued by is private, is not issued by a central bank, whereas Novetti, that is the company that has been appointed to issue the AUD, they are still kind of like a contractor to the central bank. So the central bank is behind AUDC, even though the technology and everything else, the company doing the work is Novetti, but they are using Stellar and Ripple multi-chain. So it's a Stellar and Ripple multi-chain stablecoin, whereas HDO is using a JP Morgan technology using Ethereum ECR2. So one is private. HDO is not a CBDC, whereas AUDC is CBDC. That's a main difference. The issuing party is different.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Bindi. Shall we go to the next topic about the Russia? The Bank of Russia has announced in a report today possibility of designing some digital rubies in a way that they could only be used for specific purchases.
We need topic 3 slides. Yeah, topic 3.
Yeah.
On Russia.
Good, thanks. So online, yeah. So,
Director, we need the slides has not changed. We need the slides for Russia.
Canada. All right. The central bank expects the digital ruby to also increase the availability of financial services and optimize cross-border payments. A Russia CBDC would start being rolled out in 2023. Bank of Russia indicated that its central bank digital currency, CBDC, would allow the implementation of a targeting technology, meaning that some digital rubies could be designed to only pay for specific goods or services. According to the central bank, the targeting technology, or coloring, as it is also referred to, would increase the efficiency of public spending. So my question is, do you think the Bank of Russia will be able to introduce the digital ruby by April 2023 or not?
Well, this full scale of implementation of digital ruble will begin in 2 years' time, because some of the features, such as offline mode, as well as connecting of non-banking financial organizations and exchanges, are expected only in 2025. However, because they are taking a phased approach to the introduction, as anyone would, central bank CBDC for Russia they are expected to be able to adapt the new conditions starting April 2023. So they actually, between all these evil countries whom we call axis of all evil, they have a kind of a big enough, I think, big enough ecosystem to sustain this digital currency. So the report has come on heels that Vladimir Putin has decided to ban cryptocurrency payment, which is very important, so that they can make CBDC, Russian CBDC, a success, right? And also they need to get that up and off the ground very quickly to overcome the sanction or the ban from using SWIFT banking system. So the sanction that has been imposed on Moscow is the one that actually accelerated the development of a CBDC for Russia. So I guess more likely than not, the digital ruble will be implemented sometime in 2023 for the reasons that are already given.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Oh.
So we're going to have a look at the last video, which is from Miles Guo. Miles Guo sums it up very nicely for all of us. Let's have a look at the video.
在几十天以前，他做梦都没想到，这个世界突然间给他证明了一个美帝国主义老了，在金融领域上，2个系统把他给震歪了。比特币的暴跌没有出现任何金融动乱，连抱怨都没有。将近6万美元的一个跌到3万美元，没出现任何金融不稳定。美国人傻眼了，美国人认为如果这样的币都跌到这样的话，对老百姓都不认了，我认啊。这种金融工具的对社会的稳定和流通和财富，政府是干啥的？大家，政府是骗子，你知道吗？政府是让你拿出来骗你钱的，他不生产1分财富，他关键就让你别造反。任何政府共产党的就流氓了就把你钱全拿走，还要你的命把你当奴隶使用。美国政府发现这个东西管用，我相信美日欧这些国家一定会研究洗币。拜登总统说句话，负责任的数字货币和立法方案。去中心化币它是一个开始，一定会被消失。最后是各国政府一定说，所有的去中心化的币一定不允许你交易，在这些国家一定不会第二，一定会在全世界说你要有任何数字货币负责任，就是说这个技术是去中心化的，政府可以说允许你是去中心化的技术，但你必须有中心化的责任的系统，那就必须稳定币、法币和数字货币有一个平衡，再一个有铆钉。然后呢，政府一定加大你这个钱的监管。什么叫监管？就是你从法币来的钱去哪儿了，我得管。这3条那就了不地了。然后呢，你可以支付，这个支付系统的时候，可能是未来政府可能3、5年都搞不定的事儿，因为这个数据你是很难把握的，因为互联网时代。但拜登总统给了你一个地图，美国要立法在全世界最前边，让你所有数字货币在政府的范围之内进行现代化的运作，负责任的运作。
Okay, True007, I have a question for you. I'm sure this is in the mind of many of our viewers. Which would you use?
What
CBDC or HDO? Which would you use?
That is a very good question. Okay, CBDC are issued directly by government or authorities and do not have reserve requirements. CBDC can be classified as either retail or wholesale. Retail CBDCs are issued directly to consumers and businesses. Wholesale CBDCs are issued to financial institutions, which central bank reserves both. Government-backed digital currency is designed to eliminate the risk and deliver efficiency. The HDO is my preference, of course. The Himalaya dollar HDO is an ERC20 stable coin pegged to the United States dollar. with full backing with cash and cash equivalent assets such as gold. We are making it possible to move digital currency around the world from anywhere instantly and securely, as long as you have a smartphone. Back to you, Bindi. Thank you.
Yeah, as for me, I think it all depends on acceptability of HDO in Australia. If we have a wide acceptance of HDO, definitely I'll prefer to use HDO compared to CBDC. So that says it all. We have to work very hard to make HDO as popular as it can, because the more popular it is, the increase of velocity is there. It will make HDO a more a feasible currency to use instead of CBDC, just because we don't trust the government. Again, that's a political comment, not a financial comment. Okay, stay tuned. We are our time has come to an end, but we'd like you to stay tuned still. After playing the final clip, we will have a song, and a song that celebrates each coin to the moon. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you, everyone. Thank you.
熟悉的字眼，却不知不觉离我越来越遥远。曾经那个意气风发的少年，为了生存只能拼命挣钱。财富是他们画下的大饼，虚幻背后发现全都是陷阱。各种经济暴雷，房价崩得稀碎，抬起头前路一片漆黑。Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, yes, going to the moon. Welcome to the world, to the new world. Welcome to the world, yes, going to the moon. Yes, going to the moon. Yes, going to the moon. 安全对前沿加密技术出手，但你的财富没人能夺走。稳定币、浮动币设计天下无双，还有20%黄金挂钩，摧毁不停压榨你的机器，从此不再做金钱的奴隶。洗脸处的大门永远敞开向你，前途光明就在洗币。Welcome to the world.